How did you discover freediving? Was it some obscure documentary? Maybe you stumbled upon freediving while scrolling the internet. For me, I first learned about it from the movie The Big Blue, and then I found my first freedive instructor through Instagram. For those of us who are deep into the freediving scene, we know that the beauty and thrill of freediving is an amazing marketing tool all by itself. Instructors and companies offering courses and gear have stunning visuals and life-changing stories to share on social media. Despite its history as one of the oldest forms of diving, we have only just seen the popularity of the sport increase thanks to a growing social media presence. Now, with the much anticipated release of Avatar 2 on the horizon, I believe that the exposure and practice of freediving are poised to go absolutely nuclear. Many freediving enthusiasts can recall their first exposure by way of Luc Besson's film The Big Blue. Released in 1988 and loosely based on a true story, it was the first introduction many had to freediving and remains a significant part of the freediver culture. The film, originally released under the French title Le Grand Bleu, is the reason many freedivers became freedivers. Many share that they were unaware that freediving was something you could learn through courses and instructors. Now, thanks to social media, the internet, and films like Avatar 2, I expect the practice to grow exponentially. I was pleasantly surprised by the positive mainstream media coverage when Elena Artnik broke the women's world record for constant weight in November 2020 with a depth of 114 meters. Since I began freediving, there have been many world records broken, but none receiving the attention of this freediving world record. They featured this feat in the New York Times and Washington Post, two of the largest publications in the US with worldwide influence. Usually, and unfortunately, freediving makes it into the news only when someone dies. Could this be evidence of the changing sentiment within popular media? Is it finally primed to shout out about freediving when Avatar 2 premieres? I hope so. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, or the UFC, is an example of how an unconventional sport could go unnoticed despite the backing of billionaires, and then take off following a catalyst. At the brand's inception in 1993, Ultimate Fighting was a super niche sport. You might have only heard of it if you were involved in martial arts at the time, like I was. If you're not involved in martial arts, you would have heard of it in passing as politicians denounced it as a blood sport and tried to ban it. In 2001, it was purchased by Zuffa, which was backed by billionaire casino tycoons Fertitta Brothers. Even with their backing and charismatic high school friend Dana White leading the charge, they were still bleeding money for 4 full years. The reality TV show The Ultimate Fighter began in 2005 as their last-ditch effort to save the organization. Up-and-coming fighters were locked in a house and gym for 3 months to compete in a single elimination tournament while viewers followed along. The season culminated in the Ultimate Fighter finale for a grand prize of a 6-figure contract for the winner. Before this, all UFC events were pay-per-view. This was the first opportunity for an audience to watch matches for free. Due to the popularity of the show and the spectacular fight between finalists Stephan Bonnar and Forrest Griffin, interest in the UFC skyrocketed in 2005 and never looked back. Now names like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor are not only familiar but wildly popular. So what does this have to do with freediving? Well, they have a few things in common. Both sports fulfill primal desires. Both have or had a strong niche following but had gone unnoticed by mainstream media for a long time. Both sometimes have poor optics. Freediving often involves blackouts and squeezes. UFC obviously involves violence and blood. Both just needed a strong catalyst for explosive growth. UFC found it in The Ultimate Fighter, and I believe freediving will erupt with Avatar 2. The Netflix show Queen's Gambit premiered on October 2020. The main character, Beth, is a chess prodigy. Why is that special? Well, because she's female. It's the 1960s, and chess is still a male-dominated field. Seemingly overnight, the show sparked huge interest in the game. eBay reported a 273% increase in searches for chess sets in the 10 days after the show's release. Google search queries for how to play chess were at near all-time highs. Searches for the keyword chess was at a 9-year high worldwide. The number of players on chess.com has gone up 5-fold, and 62 million households have watched the show. Those are some huge numbers. While freediving and chess are quite different, I think the influence of Avatar 2 on freediving movement will be similar to what The Queen's Gambit has done for chess. James Cameron's Avatar 2, starring Kate Winslet, Sigourney Weaver, Vin Diesel, Zoe Saldana, and more, is in the midst of production with an anticipated release date of December 22nd, 2022. James Cameron is changing the game with motion capture technology, but the real unrecognized star of the film is freediving. Winslet and Weaver have been sharing their experiences learning to freedive in the media. They proudly boast of being able to hold their breath for over 6 minutes. And the cast and crew were all trained by Kirk Kroc of Performance Freediving International. According to Box Office Mojo, Avatar is the second highest grossing film of all time worldwide. As of January 2021, it's just $8 million behind Avengers Endgame, with both films grossing close to a massive US $2.8 billion. It's basically a tie. Hollywood executives adore sequels as they love familiar franchises and formulas. Nevertheless, that doesn't guarantee success, as there have been some sequels that have absolutely flopped. Did you know Dumb and Dumber had a sequel? Exactly. If I were a betting man, I'd bet it all on Avatar's sequel being a monster triumph given the first film's record-setting performance. Director James Cameron's achievements as a director are legendary. He's enjoyed phenomenal success with the Terminator and Alien franchises. It's no wonder that he has plans to take Avatar even further, with 3 more Avatar films planned. That's right, we could be looking at an Avatar 5 one day. Although this film will not exactly be spotlighting freediving as the focus of the movie's plot, we are going to see stars like Kate Winslet and Sigourney Weaver all over mainstream media advertising the film. They will certainly be discussing their experiences learning to freedive. In fact, they already are. Hopefully, Avatar 2 will act as an inspiration for more people to take up the sport through offerings ranging from beginners classes to instructor certification courses. Are you running a freediving business? How are you preparing for the increased exposure? I wrote this originally as a blog a few months ago, and since then I've noticed even more coverage in popular media. Alexei Molchanov breaking the sub-ice depth record by going 80 meters deep, and that was reported by the New York Times. There is also an article profiling Alexei Molchanov by Men's Health, which is the largest men's magazine in the world. Are you ready to see freediving in the mainstream? I certainly am. And if you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell at the bottom, as I'm currently trying to catch up to my wife's YouTube channel subscriber base. Thank you.